Hey everybody, how's it going? Pretty exciting day, huh? All right, that was an awesome panel. A lot of talk about adoption. That's what I'm talking about. So, quick show of hands, who took an Uber or Lyft here today? Okay, which data center did you use? And how much did it cost you to process that data center transaction? Was it Google Cloud, AWS? No? You know what? That's an invisible experience, an infrastructure experience that you didn't need to know what you're using on the back end. And that's one of the things we've learned in Web 2 is that having invisible, frictionless experiences is how we grow and how we get mass adoption. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about invisible blockchains. All right, here we go. So quick question to ourselves. Are we ahead or behind where we should be as an industry right now? And it's a tough question to ask yourselves, but I think it's healthy to do it. Now, every time the market drops, our kind of normie hater friends, or even people in our different chat groups who get a little pessimistic will say, there's no real use cases for blockchain other than store of value. Speculation's the only use case. No one uses blockchain. It's just 500,000 people trading with each other. I personally think that's garbage, okay? I don't believe it, but my goal, and I think our goal should be to make that not even a topic of conversation, okay? By the way, I'm not talking about how many people have a Coinbase or a Binance account and own crypto assets. I'm talking about what Joe was talking about earlier, real use cases that drive the needle, real use cases of blockchain, global use cases of this technology. And hey, if you took an Uber or Lyft here today, that was a phenomenal use case to leverage cloud computing on the back end, okay? And it was a seamless experience. We need these experiences in Web 3 so we can get across the chasm, okay? So this is a very old chart here. Jeffrey Moore wrote this a long time ago. It's still true, okay? So who's familiar with this, crossing the chasm? Okay, we have some hands. So you have your early adopters are frankly your tech enthusiasts, okay? This is the early market. You then eventually hit this chasm and you have to get through it or you'll fail. But if you get through it, there's a tremendous trajectory because the pragmatists and the conservatives come soon after, the early and the late majority. Now, in order to get there, you also have to have great UX. I worked in mobile back in 2005. We had, it was a good technology. We had 92 of the Fortune 100 using this product. The only highly used product was email because nothing else worked well on mobile. We had all these other business applications. No one used them. Fast forward 3 years later, we have the iPhone. We have high-speed data networks. We've got much more powerful processors in our phones, and mobile takes off massively. It hit that curve for application usage, not just text, email, phone calls, all right? We're at that chasm now, but 16% is the number, all right? This is where real adoption begins. And again, we have surpassed this in a lot of categories. I think, you think about how many people have an account, how many people own Ethereum, how many people own Bitcoin, how many people own these different crypto assets. I think we're safely there. Let's look at gaming. SKALE is one of the largest gaming blockchains in the world. We are a mass adoption blockchain. We're built for user experience, okay? Gaming now has over 30 million people a day hitting the blockchain. I think we need to applaud ourselves for this. It used to be thousands a couple years ago. We've been on an exponential curve. But there are 3 billion people that play video games every day. So we're only 1% adoption, not 16%. But the good news is once you're at 1, it's much easier to get to 16. It's much harder to get from 0 to 1 in these spaces. So we need mass adoption. Another positive note. We're getting there on the financial side, really getting there. These are areas that require less clean, simple, easy user experience. Look at stablecoins. There were over $850 billion in stablecoin transfers volume in February. That is massive. And you know what? That is money and value moving almost at the speed of light, not taking a day to process, not taking this kind of archaic banking system. This is the new future of money rails working. Bitcoin market cap's over 1.65 trillion. This was, when I sent them the slides, so it's probably higher right now. But that's a win for store of value. That is a phenomenal store of value, okay? The reality, though, is we need more daily users for these use cases that really, really matter, all right? So then it's all about user experience. So I talked earlier about, and I saw, by the way, if you're listening online here or if you're not looking around, when I said, oh, what data center did you use and how much did it cost for that to process it, everyone's like, what are you talking about, right? But in the world of blockchain, that's the reality. So SKALE actually has taken a novel approach, and we got rid of gas fees all the way down to the core of the chain. And instead, developers pay chain fees. They rent block space. It just opens up this new user experience. It's still economically viable. People are getting paid to run servers. Entities are getting paid to run servers and infrastructure. But this is an example when you combine phenomenal UX addition with high-speed blockchain execution, zero gas fees for the end user, and integrate that with advanced custodial wallets and semi-custodial wallets, and even non-custodial wallets with some very interesting new UX features that are coming. We can let normal people who aren't engineers, who don't have a ledger device, don't really know how to use sophisticated products, interact with blockchain, okay? Another really critical topic, maximal extractable value, MEV, okay? This is where blockchains don't finalize their transactions, and what happens, well, a blockchain submits a transaction, and guess what? Anybody running a node can see that transaction until the transaction finalizes. And then you have front-running, sandwich attacks. Essentially, money and value is being taken from every user and every transaction through bots. Just last week, somebody did a 220K swap on Uniswap, and they ended up with $5,000 after. They swapped USDC to USDT. No, hey, they didn't use the Uniswap UI. If they had, they would have been protected. They used a different system, but the problem is, this is something that we think needs to be fixed. This is the next frontier for SKALE also, is going and trying to fix this problem to make sure these things can't happen. We need to have safe waters if we're gonna really hit these adoption numbers that we are going for. We also need to offer fundamentals. The next growth stage is all going to be about giving tangible value to users, okay? Real value. And there's some phenomenal use cases out there. Really excited about them. So just a little proof this works. And I have to say, this is fun for me now. We started SKALE over 7 years ago, all right? And the first couple years the network was live, we would count our users, our unique active wallets, users, and transactions in the thousands. We now have over 1 billion transactions. We have over 3.3 million wallets in the last 30 days, over 91 million transactions. So the model's working, and I'm not saying this to talk just about SKALE, but to say when you really lean into building a positive user experience for consumer-facing applications, you can get dramatic results. But these numbers, frankly, are just a start. We're now in the top 10 of all blockchains and layer 2s in terms of transaction volume, and in terms of unique active wallets. And but I think I look at this and our set of competitors and collaborators, and as an industry, we're just getting started. There's a lot coming. Quick shout out to all the builders. There's over 300 applications building on SKALE. I get the luxury every day of working with some really smart people that understand blockchain, but they also understand how to build applications. And there's some exciting things. There are some exciting things happening. So I just want to say, we are crossing the chasm now, okay? And growth will be led by UX-friendly blockchain adoption. I also want to say, because the President of the United States is speaking here in just a minute, we also have this new government regulation that's it's enabling businesses to come and get in the game. I work with some of the biggest sports leagues in the world, some of the biggest brands in the world, and we got put on pause last year. There wasn't regulatory clarity. This is real. Guess what? They're all back in. 100% of them that stopped because they're like, oh, am I going to be able to do this? So this is going to drive real economic value. And SKALE, we are a US project. I'm so happy I can say that now on stage, that we are headquartered in the US. So I think combining all these things together, we're teeing ourselves up as an industry to get to that next level of mass adoption. It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Goodbye.